Tomorrow's Today.
Well, we have been wanting to do this for a while. We've been hyping up this man for a couple of weeks now, and just schedule conflicts kind of gotten in the way. But now we're able to finally facilitate it and finally get the sound for it. We are doing our first Mavericks of Music, and our first guest here is a St. Louis native.
First one?
You're the first one.
I'm the first one.
First one, buddy. St. Louis native here. He grew up out in the county. Eventually decided to move off into the city. From a very conservative parents, he decided to liberalize himself and move over into the city, where he now practices most of his art as an indie artist, musician. He primarily plays on the guitar, and he is a part of the group that he likes to call the Odd Souls and the Sound. Let's give it up for
Matt Klose.
Okay, buddy.
Nice. So Matt and I have a little bit of a history together, just to be completely transparent.
Get it out there.
Just a bit.
Disclaimer.
It's a little disclaimer. I've known Matt for a time. We're actually brothers from, we're basically brothers because of another individual who's not with us anymore, Bobby Watson, rest in peace. And we've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and this is the perfect avenue for us to finally be able to explore.
I still think he pulled a Batman Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, yeah. Where he's hiding off in the shadows. Yeah. God, that guy was such a good guy.
Now we're friends.
Yeah, we're friends. We've been wanting to do something like this creatively for a while, and now we finally have the means. We have our show that we're now starting to do. He's been in the music scene now for what, since 2011 when you decided to go out, or?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I can trace it back to there because it was Foam that recently sadly closed up. But that was an open mic there, and that's where I trace back my modern, as I might call it. I've been playing for a number of years, but yeah.
Gotcha.
2011. Cherokee Street, Foam, and my good friends Ling and Newbacher, shout out to her, and Ellen Cook, all around South City. They had a really cool open mic. I went there, and that's where I would say it all began.
Nice. Good. Now, you've been doing the band thing by yourself and with other people, what, since before 2011 even?
I would trace, no. Well, yeah, I did have some. I did have some before that, here and there. I didn't do a whole ton in high school and stuff.
You definitely weren't in band in high school, but then again, they didn't do many guitars. I think they only had a bass guitar.
No, and I mean, my original love being art. I actually, when I was walking at high school graduation, I saw the teachers, and my art professor, art teacher, who had a couple classes, she, are you going to go study art? And I'm like, no, I'm studying music. My original dream was to draw comics.
Yeah.
I've gotten back to that in another school, but I studied at what bounced around there, but now I trace that back to 20. I formed my first, I was playing solo, doing different things, and but 2014 I formed what then was called, my last name's Klose, so and the band decided, let's call it, they like the name The Close Encounters.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
But I trace it back to there, yeah. And then I've had different formations from there, played with some other people.
Now, did you, when you decided to go solo, did you ever contemplate calling yourself The Closer?
The Closer?
The Closer.
I don't think that one. I played around. I've had Matt Up Close.
Oh, there you go.
Matt Up Close and Personal.
There you go.
Yeah. That was one of the first.
Close-up shop.
Close-up shop.
Yeah, there's a good one. No, okay. You can borrow that one later. You can call when you finally start doing live show. We're gonna call it Close-up shop.
So I have a distant, and I've yet to meet it, but I'm gonna mention it here because of the name he has. So his name is Mark Klose, and I've never met him, and I'm not putting, but anyways, I saw him as a band of his at one point that he called Close Enough.
Oh, Close Enough. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like, that's clever.
Very, very good. Now, Spirey, do you have anything on your side that you like to ask for? Oh, is he hearing us because of, he's being a butt. Yeah. So we have a husky, and we have a husky and we have a bird. The bird loves her so much that the bird hates me, and the puppy the husky likes me so much that when he hears me and I'm not around, he starts getting fanatical because he's like, "Where is he?"
And howled.
Well, he doesn't howl. He
Okay.
just kind of like
Yeah,
does this
but they
weird
do.
whelping kind of whiny stuff. He doesn't howl, no matter how much I try to get him to howl.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't howl.
I've seen recently YouTube videos. I'll get all sorts of suggestions. As soon as you start clicking on dog ones and animal ones, they will start to you.
Yeah.
Like in your suggestions.
There's a whole
Huskies, yeah.
chain of different howling Zootopia, where the Twilight Howl, or it's not the Twilight Howl, but it's something. It's one of the howl. The wolves are all around, so they the fox character, which I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He to cause a distraction, which causes the wolves to start howling. And there's a dog watching the movie, like a German Shepherd, and then the German Shepherd starts to howl. Well, then they bring it meta, and there's another dog watching the German Shepherd watching Zootopia, starting the howl process, and then he howls, and it just keeps escalating. Another dog watches another dog, another dog
too. The Huskies are really addictive because they are the cutest things.
Oh, they're cute. Shiba Inu's are really cute, and corgis. Corgis are really cute.
Oh, I just saw. There's one about. There was a picture, an article. It was a joke thing, but there's leggings out that keep butts on them.
Yeah, there's ones with cat paws on it too. All the videos where I've seen people with their legs out going, with the especially around Christmas. Whoever decided to do that ad, screw you, pal. I did not want to see that on my Facebook at least 5 to 6 times every time I open the app. Seriously, you start scrolling through. All of a sudden, there's those cat paws all doing their.
I've gotten on the TikTok and they have the one now where sound is. So I've heard people like this on TikTok. I forget the part, but it going boom, puppy. And it just, people show their puppy.
Yep.
No, this is how you go viral. It's like, I've heard on TikTok, this is how you go viral. Ready? And boom, puppy. And that's 1 million likes there. So
Gotcha.
gone viral.
Well, we went off topic there. Let's talk a little bit about your music. Obviously, that's your main focus right now.
Yeah.
How often do you?
So I'm looking at once a month, sometimes once a week, at least once a month now. It's ever changing, especially last year as I've been working it. Just recently I was doing a weekly blues jam. Yeah. So I did myself on guitar and vocals, and then I get a bassist and a drummer, and that would be a version. But anyways, we'd host a blues jam actually at a comic book shop on South Grand, if you're in the St. Louis area. South Grand, and it's called Apotheo Comics and Lounge. Yeah. It's a comic book shop with.
There you go.
And one of the reasons to, if you're thinking about taking a trip to St. Louis, is one of the reasons, because it's the only comic book shop and bar in Missouri, maybe elsewhere.
Take that, bitches. As I abuse the echo thing. My audience is probably going to get so tired of echo, but that's what happened.
We have an old ton, so we're taking it back down to once a month. That's going good. I just played at a place in St. Louis here called Schlaff Tapper.
Nice. Yes, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
It's the one downtown.
Midtown.
Okay. Yeah, 2100.
So right across from the Budweiser, if I recall correctly. In that area.
Yeah, it's not the.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Maplewood one is the Bottle Works.
That's
the tap room is probably near Budweiser. And stuff.
Just north of Westport Plaza. I think it's just north of Westport Plaza near Maryland Heights.
And it's near SLU, but it's east of.
Gotcha.
It's like, Locust. So to give you, there's Jefferson that goes north south, and it's east of Jefferson on Locust.
Maybe I'm thinking of it. I thought it was a Schlaff, but where I work, near the Edward Jones campus.
Okay.
Just south of it, actually. Just south of it, right near Westport Plaza. I know that it's either Schlaffly, another
UCBC,
not
Urban
UBCB.
Chestnut.
No.
There's a number of them. A bunch of microbreweries around here, and that one. Schlaffly is the first one after Prohibition.
Oh, it's O'Fallon, the O'Fallon brand.
That's what it is. Oh, it's the O'Fallon.
Yeah, the O'Fallon brand. They have a
So is
bar.
that in-
It's outer skirts, like off 270 near Page.
Oh, West
Yeah.
Port. Yeah. No, that's out in the
Yeah, for whatever reason, I was thinking that was a Schlafly. So it dawned on me, no, that's an O'Fallon. Oh,
But you know what? Interesting fact out that way. St. Charles.
Yeah.
There was another brewery, and Schlafly bought that brewery, and they're going to turn it into a Schlafly.
nice.
So, like within the next month,
Very nice.
they're closing down the place. That's going to be a Schlafly. So now there's like at least 3. I don't think they just have the 2 places. So I think it's 3 now.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
And then there's a nice place called 6 Mile Bridge off of Dorset. That's actually pretty good too. They got a really nice Irish rib. Just got
6
enough.
Mile Bridge.
6 Mile Bridge.
Okay.
They've actually started bringing cans out to the supermarkets around here too, as a local thing too. So
look at because breweries are great places, especially my music, to do it, and that's one of the places. Schlafly, I've just played there. There's place called Livery Company. Really cool dive at near Loughborough and 50.
Gotcha.
It's where all the like warehouse and factory on South Broadway. There's not a whole ton there. Where else? I go up to there's a place called Gaslight. It's really interesting. Right off of the hill in St. Louis, that is a recording studio and a bar, and now they've got a barbecue restaurant.
Nice.
And it's setting up to be like a landmark place. Like, it's got great barbecue. It's got a really cool studio. They've got this literally what's a warehouse that they're going to eventually turn into a primo, bigger recording room.
Yeah.
But I did a big show there back in December. I think that's everything. I don't think we have another song to sing now. I don't think. Do we have another one? Sorry, Mama. The language. I know. This song is called Merry Fucking Christmas. I was celebrating something I did where a single a week on Spotify. Every week. I did that for 52 weeks.
Nice. For a whole year.
For a whole year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you go on Spotify, I have 53 because I put all these band, so at least 3 people, and recorded in a studio. I did a bunch there at that studio, and I did a bunch, friend of mine in his home studio, and then another friend that I'm recording now. But yeah, I played there. So you got Gaslight, you got Livery Company. I've played at a place called the Heavy Anchor.
Okay.
Have you heard of that place?
I don't think I've heard of that place, but then my traveling around St. Louis for those kind of venues hasn't been as vast as like a few others.
Yeah.
Mostly when I go out, like finding out different bars and whatnot, I'll go out with family because we're a bunch of drunks. But we'll hit a spot up and then we'll just see what the atmosphere like. We'll come back to it again. But as of late, we just haven't been going out as much. I think everyone's been just kind of distracted. We definitely want to start getting out for sure. And we know that, thanks to venues to like where you go to and a couple of other spots, we want to see about checking out this stuff out.
Well, and you can all, and I'm saying really with the open mics, but I keep a track. So many venues that I can't do.
Yeah.
It's really sad. There's a pizza place on South Grand, Pizza Head.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think I saw that as like, I think it was voted as one of the, maybe I'm kidding you, but it was voted as one of the top 5 cheap things in St. Louis.
I wouldn't be, it seems, and I have not had a chance. I'm just going to make a note next week because I've gotten tired of it. I have not made it in there. And I'm just going to take some time, whether it's by myself or a friend.
Have you been to the Shake Shack yet then?
I have.
I haven't even been there. I want to, but I haven't even. And
dangerous. I'm a 9-minute walk from Shake Shack.
Uh-oh. Okay. I think the video just cut out on us for a brief minute. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
As Spirey for Twitch, the video that we have going right now, we're doing live. It's based off of Wi-Fi right now. So if it's going to seem a little choppy, that's just because of the limitations that we have here at the. So bear with it. We know it's not necessarily the perfect thing. We got it as much quality as we could, but since it's on Wi-Fi, we're limited in that capacity. Anyhow, that being said, now I remember you mentioning that you said one of your styles that you like doing is blues. What are the other styles?
So it's all of my music I really describe having rock foundation. Blues heavy, especially when I take a guitar solo. I go And for anybody to get a little music, I go into the pentatonic. But really for the common, just what a blues man would solo from and that sound, and you can pull that from a lot of rock dips is directly comes out of there. But yeah, rock foundation. I got a country one. I've got a couple acoustic ones. Every time I was writing, I'd be like, what did I do before? Let me try. But yeah, all rock foundation, couple straight ahead blues, so 12 bars, 1-4-5. I got a funky one. That's like a funk blues. I think of what else I pull from. There's one that's like a swing blues. And then a lot of, let's say influences, fighters, great description.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would say general or foundation of my songs, I really am heavily influenced by. So it's a little bit of like Foo Fighters mixed with Garrett Clark Jr. And of course, you could also say Clapton. Everybody gets an idea of, Clapton, yeah. A little bit of John Mayer. So a lot of blues emphasis.
Gotcha.
And then you've got your jazz guys like Pat Metheny, stuff. I do not practice enough to be that good, but I studied that. Rock also. Oh, a little bit. I like that influence. And then of course crossing from your Cream, which is got your blues drive, but they set out. They were more of a rock band, huge blues influence. Right, for my what else? Oh, classic, and with the help of Supernatural, the soundtrack to Supernatural. Watching that show, really influenced into classic rock.
Gotcha.
A little bit Journey, a little bit, just all sorts. Oh, Carry On My Wayward Son.
Oh yeah, you can't miss that one.
That's kind of classic rock, kind of metal, called A Moment. Like that's something I just thought of just now. Oh, I need to dig more into a classic rock. Great.
So, with that being said, like going back, like way back when you started getting into it, back in 2014, when you started learning more about music and guitar style.
Well, that was the where I got the band.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you started developing yourself, your own style and everything, where did you draw inspiration for those early parts of your years? Because you've had to have had some sort of that wanted to bring it out, whether it was like a particular artist or a sound from a group.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, if you rewind all the way, it was like, oh, let's pick up a guitar. Mm-hmm. I would fast forward there to early. Well, so I can't remember exactly what age, but it's somewhere between junior high, high school that I came across the band MXX.
Gotcha.
And are you familiar with that?
I don't know them. I think the last St. Louis band that I remember was they were featured in that movie Titan AE.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a low. So MXP, but you could give, very much like your Green Day, other punk, and I would say Green Day-ish. Green Day, I remember watching one of their talk, and they were like, we were never like a punk band. Right. It's like we always had a pop scene.
Yep.
And just what came out of us. I would say MXPX was very similar to they, but I think from Birmingham originally or something. But anyway, 3-piece punk band. I was kind of teetering with whatever guitar. So it's definitely somewhere around my freshman school. But I heard them. I came across them. I was like, wait, this is, and I was like discovering punk, and I was like, I could play. So it gave me a big encouragement. I could play this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to learn all this other stuff. Much me needed I couldn't I can't do all this up here. I didn't even picture myself as as soloing on a guitar or anything. Now, years later, I love playing lead guitar. I love blues solos, playing lines. So MXPX was a huge idea of just I can do this. Much like Kevin Smith is like podcasting. Oh man, you just mic and you just talk, and he's like, I can do that. I don't even have to you don't have to do all this other stuff. You just microphone start.
Yeah, that realization.
That sense.
Going into that, I know everyone has their own little quirks when they start dealing with stage fright and everything.
Oh,
I know early on, and I still have it to this day, even when I'm not performing. But when there's something going on with it, my involvement is definitely being witnessed and viewed. My left leg has a tremor in it, and it's a jackhammer. It'll start going off even when I'm standing straight. It'll start to wobble. What sort of reactions did you have when you were trying to get through the stage fright era?
So, and I think that if I didn't go to modern time, if I wasn't out as much as I was, then it would come back. It's right there. Much like I deal with depression, it's right there. Anxiety, depression, stage fright, that's all right there. But because I go out so much, now to rewind just a little bit, back to about sometime 2020, 2019, late 2018, I had 3 or 4 months that I did not play. I didn't go to open mics because I was dealing with my own life situation and everything was crazy. I had to move out of an apartment. The ceiling was literally falling in on me and other stuff. So that gives you an idea. So I did. And when I went back out, it had come back just a little bit, not too much. Because again, years before, for a year, I've been going to open mics. Yeah, I've been having a long run. So before that, one specific thing that really, when I went to Webster University there and focusing on the guitar and studying jazz, which takes a high focus for me, especially, of a little bit of talent and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So they have these things. For people that haven't gone, they have these things. They're basically like finals, except they're called juries. And you go in and you come up with a couple pieces, keep it so, and you play for a couple of professors. And by the time I graduated, I'd done this enough times, but no matter what I did, even my last time doing, my hands would physically be shaking. Mm-hmm. I'd be playing like this, and I could stop them no matter what I did.
Your hands would start doing the tremors and stuff.
Tremors, yeah, just like your leg. Mm-hmm. But in my hand. Yeah. And the only thing I could figure out to do as I experienced, I did a couple of juries. You do at least, one a semester. So you think, or if you get through in 4 years, and I actually jumped around a little bit. I think it's 5. But anyways, the only thing I could do was just practice to have to play through that. Right. So there was nothing physically my nerves would be so, it would make my body do that. So I would physically, and I'd have to play through that. So I get stage fright. Mm-hmm. The only reason I don't have is because I'm there so much. I make myself so used to it. Yeah. And I will still have versions of it. That was in Webster, that was the biggest one. And I can remember back to when I was younger and I didn't have as much, only so often. It would be, I can remember one of the first times I didn't actually had it. And I had it, but I could look out in the crowd. It was fairly calm.
And you felt like you could have control. You felt like you ironed your will through it.
Even now, I just played a Schlaff, and one of the things that I would have stage fright, but this was overcoming it, that I was with the band and I was actually in the moment, we had rehearsed enough, and I still had nerves about being in front of people. I still had feelings of they're judging me, but I was able to just be like, fuck it. And the band was with me. We were together. We had put enough. And after the first song, I had this confidence, okay, we're in it. And, but even then, yeah, I still have, but I think that crosses over into a lot of things with people, that we always have a little bit, anybody that's humble, not some arrogant person, they have that, what do other people, they think about what other people think of them. They worry about the judgment. Right. So I've gotten rid of a lot of my stage fright through just doing it, be used to it. I would go to a couple open mics in this last year when I was trying to get back out there, write, work through stuff, and I wasn't playing gigs. I would be going to 2 or 3 at one point a week. And that really, for me, was helpful. I'm a big proponent of getting myself in there. And 2014, when I put together a band first time, and I actually had a big one. I had 2 horns and a violin, along with a bass, a drums. I was on guitar, and I had a vocal because I was trying to not sing. And the week before, and I'll still feel this a little, the week before, I wanted everything to cancel that show. I was like, is there any way? And I was just, oh my God. But I did that show. And ever since then, like anytime I get nervous, it was always easier.
Gotcha.
It was, no matter how nervous I was, never as nervous as it was at that show. And every show I do, and the more shows I do, the more used to it I am, less nervous. So going on with that topic, because I know we've interviewed a lot of artists. I either deal with or feel empowered by that same anxiety, depression, and stuff that they encounter through building up their art and building up their skill. Would you say that some of those elements too, maybe write your songs or develop your sound, start getting you, aside from getting through the nerves and jitters of performing, but also help to empower you to be able to want to make yourself do better? I think the experiences, doing it would just, like I say, what would empower me is the more, as I did everything I did, I did developed, and that was a crucial one because of just a lot of these different, not only with the show, but things that were going on for me with my life. I look back on that, and that was a huge wall that I broke. I do feel like every show I play, every new show, every different show, whenever there's something new, when the band we did a bunch of songs, and that was nice and that was fun, and that has its place. And then the new show, having extra band members, that anything new, and in general, anything new gives, but that anxiety is like a wall. And when I break that, and now knowing the past, I go, now I fully understand. This is just a wall. I'm like, I can predict, okay, on the other side, I've been on the other side of that wall. And now I can look and say, every wall I've broken through gives me more, would you call it, strength or whatever, to resilience to go, oh, I can break through this wall. And so it's an tension feeling, but it's actually now more becoming a good feeling.
Gotcha.
They say nerves, I heard this a while back, they'll ask Olympic athletes, were you nervous? And they'll be like, no, I was excited. And I even was talking to my therapist, and she confirmed that nerves and excitement come from the same like physical feeling. Yeah. And so I more and more, now they're fully under, they say that if you interpret it, can interpret it as, oh, this is exciting.
Very good.
And I found that for me, that I can I'll still get nervous, but I'll try to transform some of that energy. Oh, this is excitement. And more and more I can do that. That's more and more as I do these things, I'm getting better at going, oh, that's not nerves, that's excitement.
Gotcha.
Which is cool.
That's a very empowering feeling too, to turn what might feel like fear at first, realize that it's actually a style of joy. Yeah. That's like trying to escape your body. Yeah. So,
this can be excitement. I can be excited for this new, and it's still taking me a while, but it's taking me a long while, but I'm getting to a place where I can transform that energy.
Very good. Very good. Spirey, I think we have a question from the audience. I can't quite position I'm in. TNFF. Hey, buddy, shout out.
This is me. One of them. Yeah, I would say this could easily be the number one. And especially when they say, what song says this is you? I have the song called The Road to Clarity. Chronologically, it's it's probably the second oldest on Spotify. Or if you have Apple Music or whatnot, it's on all the streaming platforms. It's called The Road to Clarity. And to be general, also being specific, I wrote it at a time where, it was right about 2011. I've been going, it was a time of job change, but for the better. It was a time of dealing with my relationship with my family, my blood family, to be specific, but also being general. It was a time where my relationship, that specifically, was changing, and it was about. And then I was looking at my worldview, how I literally view, coming from a more traditional mindset to a more liberal, open mindset. And I was breaking things out and writing a song. So that is definitely, I would say, if any song is This Is Me, because I have to throw out some others I love. I love Get It Right, which is a blues song talking about, the lyrics are literally work it day and get it right, gotta work it day and night. It's grind, it's about working hard. A Moment is all about how these little moments in time. She Danced, I love the Blue, but Road to Clarity, and the full title, The Road to Clarity, Much Confusion. And one more thing about that song that I love, I was working with, the beat came to me, the general beat came to me while I was in the car, as every good song, and I talked to a lot of songwriters. We talked
shower thoughts, basically, yeah.
But then the lyric, for some reason, the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That came to me, and I started messing with it in my, and what came out was, the road to clarity is paved with much confusion.
Gotcha.
And that goes along with, I'm a huge thing. And anytime it's almost like it's darkest before the dawn. These simple ideas that you have to go through confusion, you have to go through the fog. And every so often in life, you have to go through a fog, confusion, and you're going to come out the other side, clarity. You're going to come out the other side, transformation or whatever. And it was just, and recently I've had more times in life where, in one way or another, that was it. That was a huge one there, where that was a point where I was ripping everything apart to figure out who I was going to be in that. And what was it? I would say right around 20, both dealing with the loss of our friend, and then the other things that was going on with my life. I kind of had another period where that song I'd already written, I really resonated. And I had to, part of included, I had to break things down to figure out how I was putting them back together. Yeah.
It was almost like your past self was bringing a message to your future self after that tragedy happened.
Yeah, it definitely. Gotcha. I personally feel like that. Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like amazing when something like that revelatory kind of hits you? You know that you've said something for the past. You can think about it and be like, yeah, I know that, and just whatever. But then that moment hits where some piece of wisdom, you were saying it, whether it's just to be impressive or to sound smart or whatever, but then it actually sinks in. It actually finally hits the right neurons, and you're like, I was right, and I didn't even know about it, and it didn't mean now. It means everything I need right now. Tools that I set up from way back when, not knowing that. It's stupid crazy how that happened.
But things that happen in a joke. So yeah, I've had things come back around, and they just.
Gotcha. Now, Spari, do you have any questions from your end and ask him his art, his experiences?
And thanks for the question. The non-furry.
I think she probably had to step out to deal with the pup again, so that's fine. We'll keep going though.
Yeah, thank you for that question.
Yeah, that was a good question, TNFF. So let's see here. What do you think when you start sitting down and you start getting into that creative? What do you What do you find is your method to actually drive?
No, that's a great question. And method to drive it. Yeah, what comes to mind when I think about that is, well, I kind of okay. Well, what comes to mind is I live life, and then I pull from. Yeah, it really is my method because I'm always trying to drive myself. I'm a big numbers in that, like right. Just put it, make it, and like it'll come to you. So one of my other, so example, great example in real time, a song that's called "Renovating My Soul," and it's I kind of adopted from there. Anyways, I came home, I wanted to write it, and I asked myself two things: what if I lyrically? So I write the lyrics and I write the chord, the backing chords, and that's how I start a song. It's lyrics and it's accompanied by the guitar, and I say what lyrically, what philosophically have I been thinking about today? And with that one, I was dealing with again the loss and grief, and then also my own depression. And thinking, renovating my soul is about like how you renovate a house, but you do it to yourself. And I literally have a lyric that talks about not wanting to put out a sign that says, not wanting to give up on life. And I've dealt with the depression and suicidal thoughts and that kind of stuff. And that's about, I want to live life. I don't want to give up. I'm going to renovate. And one of my friends said, oh, it's like rebirth. And I was like, yeah, actually, that's straight. Yeah. Anyways, what am I thinking about today? And I've been thinking about that. And then what chords, what music? And it's similar to when people say, what comes to you first to the lyrics? It all depends. It's very organic, I call it. And it's one of the really coolest things, writing a song. And it's one of the most annoying, like how it comes. There's no rhyme or
It's just like with art, like you have a head, but you can't find a way to put the lines down. But then at other points, you're like, I have this concept, and I know that I can do this, but it's not going the right way that I want it. So many artists will just keep going with the picture and turn it into something new for itself. However, they'll keep working on the concept that they have in their head. I know I'm not much try to do things, and the biggest thing, well, two biggest things. The first thing, when I see a white canvas, I'm immediately intimidated because I'm easily going to fuck this up.
There's so much there.
Exactly, there's so much there. It's clean, crisp, to mark it up in a way that either you're not going to be satisfied with, or it's going to be something beautiful. You don't know at that point, and so enigmatic. It's a paradox.
Well, that's like this. If somebody gave me a blank canvas to draw something, because I do draw, and that's the worst thing is I would immediately draw what? Give me some sort of parameters.
Yeah, you need to tell me. A lot of the artist friends that we've been speaking to are kind of in that, maybe not exactly in that same way, but they prefer to have some sort of suggestion to be like, oh, okay, so I can take it from here. I just need that little nugget to start from, right?
Yeah.
So, but then the second thing with me with art is that I know that my skill level doesn't meet my imagination. So I can try so hard to try and figure out an to get a particular look down for it, and I know that I just don't have the finger strength. I don't have the knowledge of actually being able to construct that. But you still work with the picture anyway, because that's going to get you closer to meeting that point. I imagine that's kind of the same writing in songs. Even though it may not be the song that you were imagining, you still write out the song in order to finish it, just so that you know you finished.
Yeah, and there's a huge where I have to let, and that's the frustrating. Is I really feel like, and especially with some, and this has been a question time and time again, and other songwriters specifically, which when it's lyrics, when it's song, not a tune or whatever, which comes first, the lyrics or the music?
Yeah.
And for me, I came down to where it all depends, and you have to let it come. So it's really, I ask what I've been thinking about, and then I kind of try to flow that, whatever I've been thinking about.
we've talked on Heavy Artillery a couple times about how those who enjoy writing, they'll actually start with the character's description first, and then they'll draw the art afterwards. Whereas those who are more visually oriented, they'll start with the character and then design the story, what they've drawn by the little clues, the little context that they've added to it. I would imagine that songwriting would be that same way with you. It just depends on your frame of mind is, whether you want to, if you are more lyrically driven, or if you suddenly have a that enters your mind and you want to base off of it from there. I think it's fair to say too, with most pop artists, the lyrics come first and then the music comes afterward because they sell it out in order. But with actual songwriters, what they'll do is they'll create the basics of the structure first, and then put the lyrics on top of it afterwards to match the intensity of what's going on. What would you say out of your songs would be one where you were more focused on the lyrics first and then the music? And then the total opposite, where you're focused on the music first and then the lyrics?
Yeah, it's interesting because I would premise it real quick with my theory, and this is just me, but one I found by observing is I think that a songwriter, as we were talking about it, comes from one of three strengths: the lyrics, and that's also poetry. So the words, the lyrics, the poetry, of the melody, and that could be instrumental, that could, but there's someone who's good at poetry, and then sometimes there's a singer, and a singer is not always what's his face, Elton John.
Yeah,
Elton John never wrote. He had for anybody that doesn't, he had a lyricist that he partnered. He would write all the music and the melody and singing it, both playing and singing. Piano singer, and then he met early on a lyricist that he kind of the record company or some. They were friends for decades, and I think they're both still alive. I'm not sure offhand. But yeah, so he never wrote any of the lyrics. But I think that they're either melodically driven, lyrically driven, or instrumentally driven.
Gotcha.
And I do come from the guitar first. I don't think of myself as a singer at all. Much like I love Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix and those guys. Reason, especially with Stevie Ray Vaughan, I was like, he's just singing to get to the part where he gets to do a guitar solo. And a lot of blues is heavy, like where a lot of blues singers will be, I would say, first guitar, even though they might have a nice voice stuff. But I can think of a lot of them where it's like, even John Mayer, like he's both. So for me, I've really gotten to the point, and for years now, more than a decade, where it's, I understand myself that it could be though the lyrics first. So which one? I was talking about the Road to Clarity. That kind of came at the same time. It was a marriage between those that came both. So that's always interesting. If I were to without like thinking, 9 times out of 10, a lot of times it's music first.
Right.
It will be the guitar first. I'll come up with some sort of riff. You know what? I would say I'm definitely because I come from guitar takes me to song.
Gotcha.
I picked that up first. Yeah.
So you would say a majority of your catalog is writing the song first and then adding the lyrics afterwards.
Come up with a guitar riff of some, come up with a feel on the guitar, and then I start thinking. There has been now and then. So yeah, majority are guitar driven. I come up with chords, a progression, a guitar riff. I want to play this song, Saying What I See, which is one country song. I was like, my friend Tony, who's a local musician, he plays with a shout out to his band, Les Gruff and the Billy Goat. If you ever heard of them or see them around, God, they're badass. Country, alt country. They go down in Texas a lot. They're starting. Anyways, I said, I want to write a country song like Tony. I hear his voice of this country. And so that song, that was the first I want to write a country song. And then after that, I thought of this whole theme, how I was pissed at, I was pissed at my sister and stuff. And came up with the lyric. Make it shorter. Yeah, that was. I want to write a country song. I want to write a blues song. Yeah.
Gotcha. So we have a question, I think actually from our Discord itself. What other shows have you attended that you have drawn inspiration?
So music shows.
Yeah,
I
music
gather.
shows that you've gone.
Yeah. Well, there's one right off the bat is my friend's band, Les Gruff and the Billy Goats.
Yeah.
I mean, even before they were a band, I would draw inspiration. They're kind of like two guys that they have two lead singers, and then when they're singing lead, they play rhythm, and the other one play lead, and vice versa. Switch. So I'd written another song, like I want to write a ballad, like Billy, the other they're kind of like John Lennon and whatchamacallit.
Mm-hmm.
So some other shows though. Okay. So yeah, popped in my head. There's a band called, and it just fell out. Owl. Anyways, it's a bigger. I'll think of his name in a second. Now I'm not gonna think of it. But anyways, he it's a horn rock with a heavy dose of blues in it. Kind of a swing rock band. Kind of rockabilly. And God.
Not to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
is this who you're talking about right there? Is that
That's Les Gruff, Billy Goat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Billy.
Gotcha.
That's Billy on that one. And it was originally his thing, Les Gruff, the Billy Goat. They started another band, and then they just they're a great local old country, but a heavy dose of and Billy's more bluegrass. He's got a heavy bluegrass influence.
Would you say maybe he has, like, I know some country artists who kind of kind of like a Primus kind of feel to it.
A what?
A Primus feel to it.
Primus. Band?
Yeah, the band. Because like I don't know what they sound like, but the way you're describing it, how Primus did "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," like they did a really nice sound to it. But
they're definitely, because they got I get a vibe. I mean, they have a heavy country. They're very
okay. So they're
country.
Like deep, rich country, almost.
Yeah. I mean, they
Not
do
like,
a little bit of that alt like Wilco.
Okay.
But now, I mean, they've got a violin, and he's a fiddle player of fiddle players. So they have, I would say, more. They're actually a country band with a good dose of blues, of a bit of dose of blues, and a good dose of rock grind.
But they're just not doing that pop kind of.
No. They're dirty country.
Good. I was gonna say because that's if there's like I stopped listening to country ever since Garth Brooks like left the scene because he ruined it. To me he ruined it forever, and that's because my older sister would play it in the middle of the night. And then you start having songs like Red Solo Cup and everything else that came out afterwards. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Oh no, and they go home. I mean, the old.
Good.
Man,
I can't listen.
And Tony, the co-lead singer, he's a big personal fan of what's his face? Fell in my head now.
I get that all the time too. It's okay.
Great, and he's a country guy, big into the weed. I'm trying to describe him. God.
That's not ringing bells for me. But then again, I
You're gonna know as soon as they say him.
Probably.
Definitely
not Kenny Chesney. No.
No.
Not Post Malone. He's on the opposite side of the spectrum.
No, older dude. Old. He's like 7.
Not Willie Nelson. That's
Willie
about
Nelson.
as old. Was it Willie Nelson? Oh, it is. Shit.
He likes a lot of older too.
Okay.
But, I mean, he just loves Willie Nelson.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, there's also
so he emulates that sound part.
Yeah, he's got that. Well, you know what? He's got that man country.
Gotcha.
Well, now going down. I can't do it.
Yeah.
She left me, and then I would be like, man, I wish I had a man voice like.
Yeah.
He's got a man's voice.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So we spoke a lot about your methods and stuff. Let's see about
Al Holiday and the East Side Rhythm Band. That was the name of the other band.
Oh,
them. Because I'm thinking of stuff I want to put that. They're huge. I want to have a big band like that. And Ilphonics is they are rap rock, but like good. They're hugely talented. The bass player from there, and they've been around for about a decade now. And they started out at Webster U and stuff. And so, I mean, they're just all talented. I think if there's another one, that would be a great example of big local. Les Gruff and the Billy Goat, country grind. Al Sharpton has got that early rock, horns, a little bit of blues in there, and he'll have different guest stuff around, and then Ilphonics.
Gotcha. So as I was saying, we've talked a lot about your methods and how you start those the inspiration of it. We talked about the rough times, about how to get yourself into that. We talked about where you draw a lot of the inspiration. Something we like to do with the program with our artists is we like to see where they have been and then where they are now. So let's start actually delving into music itself. Let's start off with a piece that you started off early that you felt pretty confident in, but you knew much later that was kind of flawed. Well, like maybe not perfectly flawed. Like, you know, like you would look at it now and be like, man, I could really do more with that song.
Yeah. Words. Can't find the words I wanna say. Can't find the words I need today to even listen. If I had them to say, therefore I run from it all. Would you listen if I spoke to you? Would you listen if I spoke the truth? Or would you turn and walk away? Would you just walk away? Afraid of that fall, I run from it all. If you listen, would these words make you think? You listen, in your heart, would these words really sink? Would you just walk away? Afraid of that fall, run from it all. Afraid of that fall, I run from it all. It was the first song that I wrote.
Nice.
In this new era. In 2011, I started writing for so and decided to say, that one, I guess, surprises me. I liked it, but as I wrote a song, I just thought I.
Right.
Yeah.
The way you write now probably differs from what maybe seems like a simplistic kind of, a simplistic style that you did back then.
Yeah. I mean, this is similar in that I still write a blues song, and, it was just, I don't know. I flipped back and forth, but it would be like, oh, I got more better stuff. And I still don't play it that much. And when I do, I will get a good, like, people are like, I will get surprised for whatever one reason or another. I think it seems like colloquial or something. I think that's the word I'm looking.
Gotcha.
Seems quaint.
Seems quaint.
That's a word. Yeah. This one, it's like my first, and it always seems quaint to me now that I don't think about playing it.
It's like having your first set of Legos, and the first thing you make is a little house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get more Legos, have more area to work with, so you start making like a little mansion out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But it's good as like a simple, but yeah, it's very much, I think that's how I feel about it. It's always nice when I do and people, that's really cool. I mean, the lyrics are all about, I had an X at the time. I mean, in general, it's a bigger concept because it's about, lyrics go, I can't find the words I want, can't find the words I need today. Would you even listen, or would you just walk away? And then it goes into, if I said those words, would you listen? And then the third verse is, if you listen, it actually sync. And I've talked in the past about how it's like, I have the words to say, but should I person to say them? Shouldn't somebody else say them and come from them? And it's the idea of being the only person who's going to speak up about whatever it is in life, but at the same time feeling like shouldn't be you, but then you're the only one. And I do think though that general, but yeah, musically it seems quaint.
Gotcha. And then, what would you say your crowning achievement on current songs that you've made is? What would you say that you're most proud of, baby, that you've made the last 2 years?
Well, one of the things I'm really proud of is, so I set out to do 52 singles in 52 weeks, a whole year project.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah. And that was before in 2018. There's a project for the 52 that I'm very proud of. And on New Year's Day, I was thinking, and I had been influenced by this idea of putting out a lot of so anyways, the short of it was I came up with an live video every single day. And then about 15 days in, I thought I should write a song. And so I did somewhere around 300. A number of them I kept. And it was really great. It became like the gym. Mm-hmm. And I completed it. And even like at about 100 episodes, I remember 107, I was like doing it and I'd stopped everything else and I was majorly depressed because of what was going on with life. And I did not want to do another live. But I had some friends because I put on there, I think this might be enough people go, no, keep doing it. I pushed through. And so I had talked about doing it again. When I got done the episode, I was so relieved. But yeah, that was that'd probably be my most. The 52 was
you call that like your Moses in the Sands moment, your 40 days and
40? That was the experience. And I still have songs that I know I need to go back and transcribe and listen to and like develop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What one of those songs would you like to play for the audience?
One of those songs or?
Yeah.
Oh, well, one of them, and I've been talking about this one. So this is a good one. I wrote this on like the 30th. I ended up recording it. It's one of my 52. And it's called Renovating My Soul.
Gotcha.
And I came home and originally wrote this. As much as it pretty much hasn't changed, I wrote it in 15 minutes.
Oh.
So that was really cool. I sat down and go live in 15 minutes. And I said, and it just, again, it was organic. I don't even remember how I really music. I wanted to do something, but I had been thinking about the idea, and I can't really remember how it all. I just sat down. I wanted to do it, and it was just right for harvest.
Gotcha.
That would be a great description for songs. Do you have those times where? Let's go, Renovating My Soul.
Okay.
I've been tearing down these walls. I've been making all the calls. Well, this house is so damn weak. The roof just leaks and leaks. Used to be just normal wear and tear. Now there's a little more to bear. So I'm renovating my soul. Oh, this house is solid, and I can feel that cold. I want to put out solitaire soul. So I'm renovating my soul. Oh, pain has begun to tear. This house is worse for wear. The footprints of the past, the marks in the photo will last. Used to be just normal wear and tear. Now there's little more to bear. So I'm renovating my soul. Oh, it's not solid, but I can feel that cold. Wouldn't put out a sanitary soul. So I'm renovating my soul. Oh, so I'm renovating my soul. House is solid, but I can feel that cold. Want to put out a sign that says soul. So I'm renovating my soul. Oh, oh.
Very nice. You can actually really tell like the time difference between that one and your other song right there. You can really kind of tell.
Tell a change there, yeah.
It's definitely
Nice.
you can tell like how your lyrics definitely started getting more involved. Like just from my first impressions of it, and I'm coming in this as a blank slate because the most fair to try and judge that stuff is to go from a blank slate. If I don't listen to your stuff, I can hear it for what it is on that impression. Your earlier stuff, the first song that you did, yeah, it's a little more simplistic, but it's wholesome. It's content. It doesn't need to be very, very complex in order to convey what the thoughts are. With this one, you have like just the right amount of allspice in there, just amount of meat. You have a lot of little accents and garlic tones and other things to it, and it just makes a more complete meat. But it doesn't discredit the first part. So like your first part's like meatloaf,
Yeah.
and this one is like lobster tails with asparagus on the side on a bed of rice.
Yeah,
So,
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I think that was a great demonstration. I know we're having a little bit of audio issue. We're gonna research that during the next break here in a minute. But yeah, we'll get that on top, and we're gonna take a small 10-minute break just to loosen up the vocals and do some other stuff and get ready for the event we have in store for you, Matt. Events, yeah. We like to have fun here on this show, and while we can talk about all the anxiety and depression and stuff that have happened in the past, we like to have fun on this show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We're gonna put your writing skills to the test. Yep. So, Spirey, if you are ready, we'd like to see about doing our 10-minute break, and we will do some troubleshooting in the meantime. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
You've been watching Mavericks of Music on the Tomorrow's Today Show, a visual podcast for art, music, comedy, and experimental fun stuff. You can catch our live shows on Twitch every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Our guest of the day is Matt Klose, lead guitarist and singer of his band Odd Soul and the Sound. You can find his group on Facebook. If you're interested in taking part on the show, please consider joining our Discord, where we actively engage with our audience and keep everyone up to date on new shows and events. Or find and tag us on Facebook and Twitter.
I want to bestow a little bit of wisdom on everybody. Failure is something necessary in order to get better in anything. It's a form of progress, and failure is an acronym that is the first attempt in learning under reasonable environments. That's what failure stands for. So that was a bit of an ordeal. Apologies for everybody out there for the sound issues that we had. But again, failure is an option, and learning under those circumstances is necessary, especially when you're learning a show in its creation too.
The funny thing, I follow this guy, business entrepreneur, marketing, and he's big on artists too.
Yeah,
like all sorts. But his biggest thing is he's like, I love losing. He's like, no, I love failure because he loves like the dirt, he loves the process and all that kind of shit. And he's like, winning great, but I almost love losing more. So, but he's like, at minimum, he's like, it's part of the, like, you have to fail.
Yeah, you have to fail in order to get yourself to figure out the fixes so that it doesn't happen again. Most of the stuff that I've learned from streaming has been from failing over and over again. I've done a couple of really nice streams back in the past, but I realized that the quality just didn't look as snappy and good. And a lot of that over time, especially through research and testing on things too, have really helped to make the stream look a lot better. We're still working on like the camera stuff. Right now it's mostly the fact that I only have one USB on this side. Otherwise I would have it plugged up to the laptop and it would have a more live feed to it, and it wouldn't be as janky as it seems like right now. But that is an issue for later, and we're going to have some different alternatives for that. Right now this works for what we need to do, and we'll have a better setup, I'm sure, in the future. Well, everything is going to be...
It'll be better in the future.
It'll be better in the future. Absolutely. We got to go up. We'll go from having our 23 followers, 22 followers. We'll be up in the hundreds sometime soon. Yeah, they'll be the old school. They'll be like, yeah, we adopted early.
I was here when they had this setup.
Yeah, exactly. Man, you remember when they had just those panels right there?
You don't know. I've been following from back in the day.
Exactly. Man, what it must feel like to like have band members that are like, man, you're the OG followers right there, right? Yeah. Being able to recognize them, especially once you start having floods of people out there in the audience being like, oh, you made it from there. Holy shit. I remember you were over the bar. I've seen you, bro. I've seen you throwing up.
I was one guy.
So, now it's time for the fun. The fun that we like to have in all of our little venues. And that fun is that we're going to see about creating some music right here on the spot. And you've had a lot of experience doing this yourself already. So I think you said that you were comfortable trying to write a song in about 10 minutes. You know what? 5 minutes?
Less, yeah.
Nah, we're not going to go 5. We're gonna make it more sporting and whatnot, because the way that we're going to do it might be up your alley. And then you might find it challenging too.
Throw it at me. I'm good to go.
So what I've done is I've told Spirey that we're going to use her little Artie app to help develop a subject for the song.
Yeah.
And we're also going to tell you what style it's going to be in, and the a lyric that has to be present in the song itself.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is Spirey is going to go look through her Artie app right now, if you would please, honey. And as the audio on her side is going to be kind of cut off at the moment, I need you to type that out about what the subject is going to be, and then I'll pick the genre, and then if you can pick out, or have the audience pick out a song lyric. It doesn't have to be a song lyric from another song. It can just be something else. So if you have any ideas about what would make for a good song lyric, go ahead and put it over in the Twitch. We will pick out some of the good ones, and we'll make sure that it gets incorporated. So what she's going to do is she's going to look inside of her little art app. That's how we get our characters for the different art projects that we do. We do a challenge that's where you have to draw that subject in 10 minutes. A little rough sketch and then all the line work for it to have a complete project. And then you got to take that same picture and then do it in 1 minute. And then you got to take that same picture and do it in 10 seconds. It's so nerve-wracking for all the artists being able to do that, having to reduce the elements to those bare bones things. Half the time what happens, especially with Spirey, it gets Thanos'd. Like, only half of it remains, and then the other half starts disappearing. So it's literally whole subject, most of a whole subject, half of that subject. So it's like Thanos snapped in the middle of it and they start disappearing. Okay, so we have our first subject. So we're gonna do. Let's do. This might be a little bit out of your world, but let's try this. Let's do a reggae song.
Okay.
A little bit of a swing to
Yeah.
it. That's about a half-bird nurse that has fire powers, who is actually a villain.
Thinking of reggae first. I'm trying to remember. Since you thought of reggae, what do we?
Most of the things are on the offbeats. Dap, 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 dap,
There we go.
dap, 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 dap.
Okay.
That's kind of the reggae feel.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. And it's about a half-bird nurse,
Half bird.
that has fire powers and is actually a villain.
So this is a C sharp minor.
Mhm.
That's a C sharp major.
It's got a dissonant tone.
Spinal tap. The saddest chord, D minor. D minor, the saddest chord ever. And I kind of feel like reggae has a lot of minors.
It can. It really depends. Some of it's very happy, and then there's certain parts of it where, it can have a bit of a sound stop. But, this is a villain we're talking about, so they're not necessarily going to be
a villain.
they're not necessarily going to be the happiest person. So a minor chord does work with it.
Okay, so villain,
Villain. She's a half-bird nurse.
half bird nurse.
With fire powers.
She's half. What's the other half? Isn't she half human, half bird?
Apparently my
Or is she
computer
half
keeps...
nurse, half bird.
She's half... I guess she's half both.
Half both.
Yeah, so she's like half bird, half nurse. She's a half bird person who is a nurse. So she's all nurse,
She's all nurse.
half bird.
Half nurse. She's half human, half bird. She walks an upright like a human, and then she has the features of a bird.
Yeah.
And she's a nurse. She's evil. So she's like Dr. Evil. That's what I'm coming up with reggae.
That's fine. So we got the bass for it, the bass line.
D minor. And
Okay.
I'm thinking, okay, where do I go from?
Well, let's see here. We can look at your thing. You have a D minor, right? So you could go up to an F or a D sharp. Or is it the rule of thirds? I forget. I haven't touched.
B, D minor. So it could be B major. Oh, there we go. Just do it 2 minor chord. So if we do it in B minor, then B, C, D, 2, 3. Oh, because that.
Oh, that sounds like a nice little resolution.
One, two, three, C, D, E. Oh, B, C, D. 2, 3, 4.
So what he's doing is he's
I'm
coming.
figuring out theory, yeah.
Yeah, he's figuring out musical theory about where to jump from chords to chords so that it makes sense. It has some sort of competence to it. I haven't practiced it in a while, but I get what the junction he's doing. So if you're hearing him just spouting letters out, that's what he's trying to do right now. I can give a little bit of a play-by-play.
Yeah, so the skill of it, in figuring it out, it's like, okay, reggae, and that's actually the least experienced. I kind of like this. I mean, for short term, that's what I do. If I'm trying to write one fast,
Right.
I would go, yeah, I kind of like these 2 chords, and they fit in the key. And then at this point, I could be in. Now in my head, I'm thinking, how does that fit in? I recently was talking with a friend of mine who she sings and she's writing songs, but theory she's not strong on.
Right.
And another friend too. And So this is the part that's hard to explain because I'm just going through like a computer, like the major and the minor. I'm really going through the major scale and like, okay, how does that fit in? So D, I can talk through some of it. So D, but it may not be decipherable to the common. D's the third. It could be in B major. And I'm thinking, well, it's kind of a cool verse. This room.
Now, I know that you're going through this, and also we finally have the Spire. You actually put the clues that you need for that on there. So half bird nurse, that has fire powers, and is actually a villain. So that's what they're. But she also found a question that was being asked. She says, "How has comics inspired your musical direction?"
Oh, comics. Yeah, well, that was an early influence of my life. I drew from an early age, and I read comic books. How do they... Well, one thing that pops in my head is the epicness of it. One of my... She Danced is a narrative. One of my songs, She Danced, is a fictional narrative. I don't think it actually did, but now that I look back, I think that it was similar. It's about a woman that's from the stars. She falls to Earth, and retroactively, I look back at it and I was like, the beginning of the song is like the opening of Thor gets sent to Earth in the movie Thor,
right?
And on the Rainbow Bridge, and they come across him in the middle of the 90s, just laying on the ground. So very much. The visual of Thor, just put a woman in there, it'd be like female Thor. I know that's
well, that is the Thor now.
But they call her the Mighty Thor because it's just the idea of like, oh, what is she, Lady Thor? Yeah. But anyways, I can tell you,
she's because of the landing, she's very Thor.
Yeah.
There's your stupid joke of the day.
But actually, another visual that I joke about them stealing is in Captain Marvel. She crash lands into the blockbuster, and that's very much the visual I have.
Wait, does she do the superhero landing? Does she do the superhero landing?
No, she crashed. You didn't see.
Oh, she just crashes. I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. But, I need to.
It's in the trailer. She crashes into blockbuster.
Okay.
And so, like, there's no superhero landing. She falls. I forget what happens, but she's in a fight and like falls out of whatever plane she's in. And is close enough on Earth where she's been vulnerable enough. She lands and it survives, so it's fine. So she's invulnerable enough. I mean, how in my music some of it? Oh, well, it's sprinkled in there. It's just kind of a background, I would say, if I describe this. Great question, because I don't know about describing that. A moment is all about the moments in time that like bring us and thinking about. It's influenced by the idea of parallel realities, alternate realities, multiverse, and the moments that get us to this reality, not another parallel reality. So it's influenced by my nerding out over the moments in time and how alternate realities split off.
Gotcha.
Yes, it's kind of a background thing.
It's almost like the cilantro on top of your taco. Gotcha.
Genuinely, that's a great question. Because I'm not sure how, but definitely it's in the back, and I haven't thought about it. I've never had that question. And I love it because I'm a big comic fan, and
you could take that as your next kind of self challenge is to see if you can write certain songs based off of comic book scenes or epic moments that happen within particular comics, or even over particular anti-heroes or heroes, or however you want to do it. That's something you could do. You could even make a game out of it. You could go since you play at the comic book shop, you can be like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pick a random comic out of any one of these drawers, right? So I'm gonna blindfold myself. I'm gonna get spun around by such and such person. They're gonna plant me somewhere. I'm gonna walk forward, and I'm just gonna grab something, and then I gotta find something in that book where I write a song off of that particular moment. Something in that book. That could be a good way. Yeah. You could turn that into your next 52-week challenge. Yeah. You're welcome.
Exactly. No, I love that. Diaz. I really think about that because I'm like, wow, how does that? And I'm thinking through the different songs, and I don't know. I think the hero narrative. I think it's the underlining stuff. It's it's the artistry of, because I got into comic books, at least half, more than half, it was all about the visual art.
Gotcha.
I love the stories, but I mean the art, it just drew me from an early age. And I love the action, the superhero movies. Half of it, at least, is just about the visuals.
Yeah, Spy and I actually saw the documentary about Mr. Lee, Stan Lee, and about like how he would, when he was producing a lot of the comics, you know, seeing all the animatics and whatnot, he would put an emphasis as like, you know, you have a guy who's just simply pointing. Why don't you have that dude like dramatically pointing instead? Because that's going to convey more emotion. It's going to convey more thing. Why have him do this little subtle thing and instead just make him just completely throw the chair out about how angry he is about it? You know, dynamicness. He emphasized that on all the writers and the artists to convey that profile.
The epicness of superheroes too.
Almost
that's like, you know, and how I deal with in pursuing passion. Which mine is music and photography. Now the colors behind comic books, that visual art influences. It's a major background thing because I don't write about songs about superheroes, but it definitely is superheroes are very inspiring to me.
Gotcha.
It's one of the few inspirational things that I'm not into motivational speakers and different. And when people talk about inspiration. But I'm just realizing just now, I'm like, yeah, superheroes have always been that one inspirational thing. They really are in my life because of the inspiration.
Gotcha.
See that.
You know, I just found, you know, I always look to see if I can find something as a random generator, and I found a song lyric random generator. So let's give this a floral. Song length, short and sweet.
This is not quite reggae, but I think I'm coming up with this simple.
I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be like completely.
So.
What would you like to do for it? Do you want to speak about the song?
Flat, that's what I do. B flat instead of B. Period.
Gotcha. Do you want to do the song as like a first person or a third person kind of? I
was going to do it about telling a narrative about her.
Okay, so you third person female. Gotcha.
You know what's funny with this is I just saw the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah.
The Harley Quinn movie.
Birds of Prey or?
Yeah. Birds of Prey, yeah. Oh, I loved it. It's great. So she's a half human, half bird. She's a bird person that's a nurse. And what if her... Oh, okay. So think about the story. So this just all spells a narrative song to me. And then my mind goes, what if she's a nurse by day and she's evil by night?
Okay. So she's a school nurse, is what you say. She's a school nurse.
Okay, she's a school
okay,
nurse.
Gotcha. I see where you're going with this.
Okay, I'm thinking here through lyrics. If I describe it, I came up with one for a chorus.
What do you think this? I'm going off of this little random generator here. It's giving me suggestions to put in there. What do you think? What do you think this evil bird nurse with fire powers? What two leisurely activities does she enjoy doing? Obviously, she likes going to.
I didn't even.
Yeah, fire powers too. But what do you think she likes doing? She obviously likes going to school because she's a nurse there.
Nurse, and she moonlights. That's her side hustle, is being evil.
Right.
So I just thought of that there because I'm big into this. Like I was talking about Gary Vee, and you call it side hustle, you call it moonlight or whatever. So it is her. But to be 2020, that's her side hustle is being evil. She does it on the weekends. At night she works as a nurse during the day, and that like is her main job. But like she dreams of being evil, but she can't quite afford to be evil.
Okay, I got you.
She can't afford that yet, you know,
Because
she's working on an evil Patreon.
Because there's not enough funding in the schools for her to actually make a living. Yeah.
And her parents always told her, "Look, I know you dream of being evil, but it doesn't pay the bill."
No, it doesn't pay the bills. It absorbs it.
Be good. We sent you to children nursing school.
What 2 words do you think that this evil nurse would like to use? What do you think? What do you think her catch words are?
I don't. I don't know. I'm kind of getting on this. Well, she's got fire too.
She's got fire. Do you think maybe she's apologetic and says sorry too often or something?
Sorry too often.
Yeah.
By day. Maybe.
Okay, we'll put that in there. I can get suggestions too. And what other words does she use a lot? Do you think maybe she calls her?
I've gotten stuck on this lyric where like the lights go down, and that's when I make that's when I burn the town.
There you go.
The lights go down. I would burn it down, and I light up the town. There we go. See, it just comes. It's kind of organic and kind of not. It's unexplainable.
So Spirey came up with I'm sure that you've heard of Jonathan Colton, right? Jonathan Colton? No? Okay.
No.
Spirey was asking if you've heard of Jonathan Colton or Kirby Crackle, because they practically live and breathe this type of game for their music. They love doing improv-like music with goofy stories.
No?
Okay.
I haven't.
That's something you might want to see about jumping into.
Yeah.
So the nurse. What 2 friends do you think she likes hanging out with?
What 2 friends?
Friends, yeah.
What was there? There was somebody named Crackle.
Crackle? Okay, Crackle.
Crackle and Pop.
Crackle and Pop.
Crackle.
Because
she burns and they crackle and pop.
Gotcha.
She doesn't burn them, but
But she gave them the nickname because she accidentally burned them to test her powers or something, right?
And she flamed up and they were like, they made noises like crackle and pop. Something like that. This now, that's what I think of during the day because this feels like walking. Lights go down. I light up the town. Parents always told me, just be a good little school nurse.
I don't know why it just that kicked me in the stomach.
Parents always told me, be a good little school nurse. There could be a lot of things much more worse. I'm definitely not singing reggae anymore, but that's okay. Anyways, there could be a lot of things more worse.
Well, so I've got a randomly generated song here.
But let's add that.
I mean, if you want to use it, you can.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Let me shift it here so that we don't lose sound. I don't want to have you lose sound.
With crackle and pop, but when left alone, her mind turns straight to birds. She loved birds more than fire.
That's your chorus right there.
Like Sorry and Muppet. She likes to use words about fire. She's an evil kind of gal. She likes school being evil. Actually, she gets on with life as a nurse. It could be a whole. I like that part there. Actually,
yeah.
Said that.
So, because this is all randomly generated, I don't think it's necessarily trying to rhyme, but you can. I can see a way.
Definitely that one part there, and then so she gets on. What's that first line?
She gets on with life as a nurse, so she can do like.
Because what I picture now.
Yeah.
Again, so great, but I picture her walking like she's walking down the hall.
Uh-huh.
She's thinking about this, and she's dreaming about how she wants to be evil, but she can't afford it right now. She's
right.
got only moonlight, and her parents also. So it's funny because this is all coming from different things. This guy, I follow Gary Vee, he talks about, and he has a bunch of people. He'll do Q&As and stuff, and people will come up to him and be like, like I'm in my 3rd year of law school, but I don't want to be a lawyer, but I put 3 years into it. And he's like, well, fine being a lawyer then. And they're like, I wanna do a podcast about Ninja Turtles. And he's like, well, do a podcast about Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta think. So, but that very first line open, she gets on being a.
She gets on with life as a nurse.
She gets on life as a nurse. Her parents always tell her that could be much worse. But she knows she's got much bigger dreams. Though they aren't so precious, it seems. But for now, and then I got another chord that let me see here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm almost. Do a little weird thing like this here. Like, let's see.
Go with the diminished fourth. That's kind of cool.
What's it? Oh, it's. When the lights go down, that's when she lights up the town.
So it's like her little inspirational moment when she thinks about that, but where she goes out to start burning stuff. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's all about her just burning down the town because she's evil.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not. Well, it's certainly no doubt. Or what if? Oh, now I'm thinking of Roxanne. You don't have to put on the red lights.
That's definitely not reggae. That's okay though.
She walks. She walks down the hall. A good little school nurse. Parents always told her it could be a lot worse. Keep a day job and pay your bills. But being good doesn't keep her fulfilled. Oh, she's so evil. She's so evil. When the lights go down, that's when she lights up the town. I'm missing some chords in there, but I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh, because then, so what do we? Now we're going to change it up a little bit where this, okay. Walking down the halls, a good little nurse. Her parents always told her it could be a lot worse. Be better than us. Get your job and pay your bills. But being good's the last thing that makes her fulfilled. 'Cause she's so evil. But she can't afford it. She's so evil. The weekends when she can't afford it. But when the lights go down, that's when she lights up the town. And then it goes into, well, on the nights and weekends. And then on the nights and weekends, she does what she really loves. She's wondering if that could be enough. with the fire powers. And the light, she lights up her eyes. On the weekends, she puts terror in their eyes.
Oh, eyes with eyes. We're gonna cheat.
Yeah. You go back there. With fire in her hands, she lights up the skies.
To terrorize the lands.
Well, I like the people's eyes. She puts fires. Let's see here. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, with fire in her hands, because I'm thinking of her passion,
Mm-hmm.
fire. But then, yeah, it's weird working in the fire.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Yeah. I mean, well, you can think of that, she's an arsonist or a pyromancer or something like that.
Oh, her passionate pyro. She lights up the skies with a fury fire. She puts fear in their eyes.
There you go. That's better.
There we go.
That works better.
Oh, she's so evil, but that don't pay the bills. She's so evil, but she knows it gives, but she's got to make her thrills.
Mm-hmm.
So when the lights go down, she lights up the town. For now, she can only move lights as the dark bright. That's her name.
The Dark Bright. The Dark Bright. Okay.
The dark bright.
Okay, the Dark Bright.
The dark light. I'm gonna play. My friend, the local band Boxcar has a song called "The Dark Light."
There you go.
It's about drowning yourself in a river.
Oh, well.
It's
That's
I took myself down to the river. It's a fun tune. You forget it's said.
Yeah.
The main part is something for it. But yeah, but there we go. Okay, let's see if I can remember it all. We got the whole thing here. She walks through the halls every day. Walks through the halls on time, working hard as a nurse. Parents always told her mediocre life ain't the worst. But no, she wants more. She does adore the evil life. She wants more. Oh, she's so evil, but it doesn't pay the bills. But she's so evil, she needs those thrills. And when the lights go down, she'll light up the town. She's been moonlighting with a fire so bright. When she clocks out, the darkness she brings all around. Even with her fire, and with her fire, she'll never tire. She gets a little less sleep, but it's all in a week. She's so evil, but evil doesn't pay the bills. She's so evil, she moonlights her thrills. When the lights go down, she lights up the town. Oh, she's moonlighting, but one day she'll be full-time. She's moonlighting for now, but one day she's gonna say no more. She'll go from town to town on an evil tour. like a rock band, but she's even better than
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. She's so evil, but it doesn't pay the bills. She's so evil, but she'll show them all that it does pay the bills. Because one day she doesn't have to wait for the lights to go down to light up the town and the next town and the town after that. Something like that.
I think we got a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. So I think what we'll do this time is we'll collaborate a little bit. This time, you're going to write the music and whatnot.
Okay.
So Spy's going to give another subject, and then it'll be on me. I'll take the charge this time, and I'll write the lyrics, and I'll write the song. So you can come up with the structure, and then I'll come up with it, and then I'll even sing it. I'll try to bring something to it. So, Spirey, if you're over there, it's time to make your husband work. Let's get a subject, find something juicy, and this time we'll go with something that you're a little bit more comfortable with. Now that we've got your brain waves going.
I already know I'm going full pop.
There you go, full pop. Okay, cool, full pop. So Spirey's going to get us a new subject, and then once we have a new subject from the art program, I'm going to write the song, and then I'll find a way to mix it up with what you're going. I'll let you know what my thought process is in trying to write it, and I will do that. I've actually tried writing songs a few times. I even wrote one that was like not so much is like in 6/8 time, and I was like, I like how this goes, but I have no way to actually get the song down. I wrote it while I was on the ship of all things, because I really didn't have anything else to do, and I was really bored, and I was just like, I like how this sounds. And
where is our chat?
Oh, I think it's just kind of frozen up in the minute, but even so. What do we got, Spy? What do I have to write about?
Oh, maybe a poncho.
You can do that.
That's a verse.
Mm-hmm. Oh God. Okay, so I can work with this. This isn't too bad. It's about a towering young man that is one with nature who's wearing animal hides. Wearing animal hides. Okay, cool. I can do that.
Actually, I'm switching it up a little.
Oh, you think you're getting?
Well, because it's brand new.
Yeah, it's got a stretch.
Stretch. There you go. Stretch.
At least the bass guitar upstairs isn't playing anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. This is why I shoot a YouTube video. This kind of when the drummer won't stop playing while you're doing it. He goes on all these scenarios. Then at the very end, it's just like getting Is it? He's like in bed at night. He's like, we'll find him here. And he's got an acoustic guitar and he starts tuning. The drummer jumps in with a tambourine.
Gotcha.
You get up here.
Trying to think of what else I can do. I should stop going with the generators. I've got one part from the generator, so start writing from there. If I go with the generator too much, then that's not going to help out with this. So
Generate the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I could.
The generator.
I did look at the generator to see if I could just generate the whole song, but then it was like coming things like, I like the way you eat.
I think
conceit.
Generate
like,
and
what?
Just sing that.
I mean, I could. That was what I was thinking about doing, and then trying to just make it work. But
I, the guest, love it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm working on a frame right now, so what I'll do is I'll let this one generate, and then I'll find a way to put it together with your song.
It should have verses and choruses that like set up like that.
Give me an adjective about this tall boy. I've got natural, cunning, stealthy. I need one more, and I'm blanking on a adjective. It's like lonely, fast. I have natural, cunning, stealthy. Slow? Okay. Sure, slow. Okay. Maybe a little mentally slow. 2 verbs. Carving. Okay. Yeah, he's got to carve the pelts off, right?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Jumping.
I was gonna say meditating.
Meditates really cars.
Well, because he's one with nature, so he's got to meditate, right? Are you still doing the pop feel to it, or what? Or are you gonna just start?
I'm doing this.
Okay. Let me see here. It began on a natural weekend. Dusk. I was the most all natural around. He was the most towering survival expert. He was my guide, my towering guide, my survival expert. We used to meditate so well together. Back then we wanted to carve together around the world. We wanted it all. But one dusk, one natural dusk, we decided the carving was too much. Together we thwacked Mr. Poodles. Oh, it was cunning, so cunning. From that moment, our relationship changed. It grew so slow. And then it happened. Oh no, oh no. He hunted Bambi, alas, Bambi. My God, hunted Bambi. It was stealthy, so stealthy. The next day I thought my ears were broken. I thought my pelts had burst into flames. But I was actually overreacting just a little. But still, he was in my thoughts. I think about how it all had changed that dusk. That natural weekend dusk. My pelts, ouch! When I think of the towering survival expert. That towering survival expert in me. For privacy reasons. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not disclosure. And the song is done. Okay, so there's your...
All right.
Towering survival expert. So there you go.
For a moment, a relationship changing yours.
Yeah, just...
Wait, that didn't was that he grew so slow.
I don't know. We went your route. I threw in some lyrics and it worked out. But yeah. Oh goodness. Okay, so I don't. If you want to take that one, I don't know what I was channeling there.
Gruesome Tower. I know I can pinpoint, but I can't exactly.
I almost feel like there's a bit of Tom Petty that was kind of in there.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of Tom Petty, yeah.
I kind of felt that popped out, and
I was around, and I don't know. Wasn't good, yeah. Maybe John. What's his name? Campbell.
maybe I could maybe see a hint of Bruce Springsteen. No, Bruce. You don't think that's Bruce?
There's a certain song that I'm hearing there, but
I don't know.
see, those always are the best with the. We fill in the blank thing.
Yeah, it's in ad libs for songs. That's pretty much what that was.
So slowly.
You grew so slowly, and then all of a sudden that happens all at once. My pelts.
Pelts, they were burning. What was it? Your pelts blew up.
Hold on, what was it? Let's see here. The moment, and then it happened. Oh no, he hunted Bambi. Alas, Bambi. My God hunted Bambi. It was stealthy, so stealthy. The next day, I thought my antlers had broken, but I thought my pelts had burst into flames. But I was actually overreacting just a little. But still, he's in my thoughts.
That natural weekend dust. See, that's the chorus there.
Yeah.
When we read to that song, that's the chorus there. It's like, that natural weekend dust. That natural weekend dust. I don't know if it's like Bad Company or something like that. Kind of like 70s in there. Natural weekend dust.
That is just kind of, it's just with me and music like that, especially when it's coming off the thing. I like doing a lot of off the cuff music where I'm just kind of ad-libbing. You'll hear me all the time where like a song is playing and then I'll change the lyrics to something completely different just because I'm just trying to just riff and vamp off of it. And those skills did not help me. Not one bit.
I just want to build a whole song off that natural weekend dust. And then my pelts exploded.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Burst into flames!
Your pelts are. He left me. What was it? Survival expert.
Yeah. There's a
survival expert.
But still, he's in my thoughts.
Oh, it's kind of Fleetwood Mac-ish.
A bit, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
that's what it's reminded me of. Is Fleetwood Mac, that kind of in there, Tusk and shit.
I mean, so.
Monday morning. Yeah.
Down on a Monday morning, my pelts burst into flames.
My survival expert left me. Now how can I remain?
Yep. My pelts, ouch!
But no, it was just dark lights. She found me.
Gurgling under the water. I don't know. I think we're at the point now where like we're so loopy and laughing at each other just from stupid things now. That's a good time to start wrapping it up. I think we got accomplished what we set out to do. We made 2 songs, one in a reggae fashion, the other one in a classic ballad about a survival expert towering son. Yeah.
I'm tempted to write that song now. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Well, it's not called The Dust, but you know what I was trying to. Yeah, it began on a natural weekend dusk. The natural.
Oh, the natural dusk. I'm like, oh my god.
According to this generator, it's called The Tale of My Towering Survival Expert Guide. Yes, that's the title.
See, actually, I think this is a great for other musicians. Is you do one where you generate. Actually, you generate it in there.
Right.
And then you give them the lyrics, and they perform that. And then some other way we generate the chords, but like that could be. It's just a fun where it comes out hilarious. The generator's gonna make it.
The generators alone, just with the ridiculousness of not really making the words combine together properly.
So you fill it in. You ask them.
Yeah.
Because I love it.
So what I've done is I've taken the lyrics from. I've taken that the lyrics from that particular generator and I've given them to you on Discord, so you can now recall them whenever you want.
Okay.
And you can tweak them as you want. So if you decide to make a song about that and you want me to sing a better version of it with some actual structure rather than off the cuff as we did here, we can collab. We can collab.
The natural dusk will because I could actually now I'm tempted to put that on Spotify and see what.
Well, one of the pelts was a skunk. Still hit the glands in the butthole.
I mean, because we were worked at, and that's the chorus. Oh, the natural dust. It makes me. It reminds me of his musk.
Not the Elon kind.
Oh, the natural dusk. Every morning it makes me think of your musk, and a tear falls from my eye. On that note.
He hunted Bambi. Alas, it was Bambi. And Mr. Poodles.
Broke my heart when you gunned down Bambi.
All right. Well, I think the loopiness is finally getting to me myself too. So.
That day you broke my heart when you gunned down Bambi from 50 yards.
With not just one arrow, but 5. Okay. Matt, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
for this. This has been a great show. A little bit of a rocky start, but honestly, the best learning experience we could have had after that, and we'd be more than happy to have you again in the future once we absolutely perfect this situation a little bit more. But yeah, we will see about coming out to you guys again when we have our next musical expert. We've got one person who was we have a possible Emmy nominated guest in the future, sometime either in March and April. I'm not going to say much more than that, but we've been reaching out to a couple people, and we might have something lined up for that. It's in the works. So whether it's going to be the second guest or a third guest or whatnot, but that's one that we have lined up and we're seeing about working it. One person knows exactly who I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about my wife. So we'll see how that goes.
Tomorrow channel.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Remember, if you want to see more about what we do here on the Tales of Tomorrow for tomorrow's Today show, down below is the Discord. You can join us over there, along with Odd Soul and everyone else that we've been interviewing for the Heavy Artillery. If you have suggestions for the show, that's also in the box down below. On YouTube, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe so you can see more content like this in the future. And again, thank you for Odd Soul and the Sound for joining us today, Matt Klose, and being a guest in the future where we have our competitions once we do that. We will look forward to that. And but yeah, thank you all for hanging out with us. We will see you guys in the next one. Good night. All right, it's time to turn this off. Turn it 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 off. Now we wait.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope my wife was paying attention. Otherwise, I just look like a dumbass right now. But that's normal for my part.
She had to.